Okay.
here. I'm recording it, and then
Okay.
I can just
Oh,
post it somewhere,
or
probably a YouTube channel, and I can send that to you. But
okay.
anyways,
Okay.
yeah. So we make this bottom our ground, right? Then we have this big node. I'm gonna disregard everything you wrote here, but I'm just gonna
Okay.
disregard. So this is our node, whatever.
Yeah.
We call this V1, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna be our V2, and we'll call this, since this is our ground, this is negative 240, right?
Okay.
Um, yeah, right. So we know current 19. We're gonna call this I1, I2, I3.
Well, we're told in this circuit that it goes IB to the left.
Which one's IB? Okay.
Where you labeled I3, like we're told that is IB. So like everything written in pencil is what was given, and then everything that I write in colors is like things we've added to the problem or
Okay.
figured out. So like on the far right by the negative 240, there's a current going downward, that's ID.
Okay. So ID,
And then yeah, we're told that is ID.
IB, and then this is this for ID.
Yeah, that is for ID, that dependent source.
ID, where's ID? Okay, that. And then V1, is V1 given a value? Is it a parameter for you? Is there a
No, we're
dependent?
not
No.
given V1. So yeah, like that's in blue, and then like the labeling of the nodes, and then above that I1, that's
Is
what
this,
we,
which
yeah.
one's IA? I know this is IA. Wait, but I label it. Is this okay to label IA?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. We have
I mean, we
IB.
didn't really label it, so that one, so, but go ahead.
Okay. And current going through here, I'm gonna call it IE. But it doesn't really matter because the equation for this one isn't even gonna be similar to that. Okay. Just making sure, yeah. So KCL, we look at each node. For our node V1, we have 19 plus IB equals, actually, I guess I'll call this IE. IE plus IA, right? It's the first equation. Second equation for V2. Oh, I forgot. What's going in here? Or is there a current here?
We're not given one for that one.
Okay, so I'm
So
gonna assume it's going this way. I'll call this F, IF. Okay, so IB, IF. Yeah, so actually no. IB equals IF plus 2B. To IB. Third equation, right? We have IE equals IF plus ID, right? So now we're gonna do our equation for components. So for this 40 ohm resistor, what would you want to tell me the equation?
what does EFC stand for? Sorry.
Sorry, equation for components.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's just what I write it for. To write the current for, or right, the current for each component.
So
This is
that one,
basically nodal. What I'm doing is nodal. It's just separating the
yeah, you're separating that from like what the V1 minus 0/40 is for IA.
right. Yeah. So you want to tell me what the equations are for each component?
Yeah, so for IA, you're gonna have V1 minus 0/40 or V1 over 40.
Mhm.
We're on next. For IB, it's V2 minus V1 over 5.
You said V1.
Oh, because you're going from right to left, right? So it's V2 minus V1 over 5.
Yeah.
right? Okay. For IF, it would be negative 240 minus V2 over 10. And then for, let's see. Well, you can't really do one for ID, right? Or IE because they're both like voltage sources. Which
So
one's or
I'll tell you a hint. So when it comes to dependent current sources, uh, you generally know it's part of the KCL, the Kirchhoff current law. But when you look at dependent voltage sources, it's going to be the potential difference across equals whatever parameter times the current ID, which is the current, which is of reference. It's the voltage is referenced with this current going through ID going across this source. So basically what I'm trying to say is V equals IR, right? V equals V greater potential minus V lower potential equals to IR. And if we want to get the current, we know that V with the higher potential minus the V with the lower potential over R is going to be our current. So basically 240, negative 240 minus V1 equals 4 times ID. Does that make sense?
oh, that's like okay, sorry, because I was like, you can't do 240 minus V1 over 4ID because that's not a resistor. So
No,
okay.
equals 4
Yeah,
ID.
yeah. That's why I was like, where were you going with
No,
that?
oh, did I say
Of the
over?
bottom equation you wrote where you wrote I equals the potential difference of the voltage over R. I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, okay, yeah. So we did that in class. So 4ID is equal to minus 240 minus well VA for the other one. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I get that.
All right.
So
Um,
and then like because of like which one it's like the negative is with the V1 and the positive is with the negative 240 that has to reflect in your equation.
mhm. Do I have an extra equation? No. Do I? I have one. Give me 1 second.
IC. We don't have an IC.
Oh yeah, you're right. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. So yeah. Where is this for? Can you see this?
Mhm.
Okay. Oh, sorry. So essentially what I'm going to do is this is like a calculator I use to solve linear equations. This basically is what I like asked because if he allowed you to use this, all you need to do is worry about the algebra and not have to. This makes it much easier. I'm not sure how Professor Chan works though in that way. Does
So are you
he?
just gonna put all these equations in and then hit enter and it's gonna spit out an answer for you?
Yeah,
So how do I do that on a TI-84?
you can't do that on a TI-84 unless you're doing matrices, which is a whole other topic. It's
Yeah.
like
So I'm not gonna have a thing that just like that you're typing in. So this is the part that I need the help on, I guess.
uh
That's why I'm not seeing my answer. Because you're saying like this was like an easier way, right?
mhm.
But you're just about to just hit okay and magically get everything.
I mean, yeah, I was encouraged to use this when I took this course.
Okay. Well, I don't even know what like this is.
Oh, Maxima?
Yeah, I've never heard of that. So
Here, I'll drop you the link. I mean, a TI Inspire does basically the same thing, but a TI Inspire is going to cost you like $120, I think. I don't know.
I only have a TI-84. So he said like we're allowed to use calculators, but I'm not about to like buy a new calculator just to solve this type of problem when, I mean, I could do it with matrix. That's why I'm trying to figure that out.
Yeah. This essentially it is matrix.
I mean, yeah, but like, can you do the matrix?
It's been so long. I am so rusty on it.
Well, I mean, can you at least look at like what I sent to see if like it's making sense what I have written?
Yeah.
Because like that's what I'm like stuck on. Like maybe I like wrote a negative because that happens sometimes. Like I don't know if maybe you can like look at it and then point out like where I goofed or if I'm just not doing it correctly.
Of course.
Do you want me to share my screen again or?
I'm looking at it.
Oh, okay.
Give me 1 sec.
Okay.
I also didn't write something well in this.
Oh yeah, if you want to solve this first so we get like all the answers, so that's fine. So we can
Yeah.
like use that to confirm.
I can't be IF, so I'll call IFIC.
And there's
See
one on the
it?
left. Yeah.
So
Okay. So he did say that VA was negative 280, which is our,
V1.
yeah, I think you named it as V1. And then he said ID was 10A. So yeah, you got that as well. Okay. So let me just write these down real quick. So what did you have for V2? Okay.
Negative 320.
Negative 320 and then for V1, it's negative 280. And then, I mean, I can just always rewatch this. I just want to know at least these two. And then you got -8 for IB and 10. Okay, we can move forward.
Okay.
Because I could always rewatch this for all the other answers.
Yeah, IC is IF. So
Mhm.
IC equals IF for those
Okay,
answers.
gotcha.
Then you plug I1 in here, so negative 19. It's a long equation. All right. So you're trying to combine those two nodes. So then the source transformation would have been, no. I would start this problem by grabbing this and doing a source transformation. So basically you have a resistor here and then it's split off. Just so I keep track that or actually, no, since it's no. Uh, um, so, okay, I'm gonna. -19 minus maybe.
Oh, done. So, oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, because that one is,
Is this the one you're
yeah, it's fine.
doubting?
I just, what I did with the supernode is because we had found the equation relating to the supernode, which was 4ID equals minus V1 minus 240. I solved it for ID and then I plugged that in for ID. Is that correct to do? Just so that I could then get that into V1 and V2 for my matrix. And then I took what I got equation 4IB and
So
then I put that
what's
in.
your whole supernode essentially?
Yeah,
Is
no,
it
well, you
this?
had, yeah, that is the super, no, no, no. Oh.
What did you label as your
So
supernode?
for what professor did was he did the KCL for V1 and he got 19 plus IB minus V1 over 40 minus, and then we needed to introduce
I
that
one.
I1 at the top, which you
Uh-huh.
labeled IE to solve for it because we can't just do the KCL with that dependent voltage source there. So we got that, and then we did the KCL for the negative 240 node. And that was I1 minus ID plus V2 minus negative 240 over 10 equals 0. And then he solved the top one for I1. And we got that and plugged it in for the KCL for the negative 240 node. So that's what's happening at the top of that paper. Then he was like, this is a supernode. So then I just rewrote those two equations basically together. So I have what I1 equals for V, the KCL for V1 plugged in for the I1 and the negative 240 node. Does that make sense what I have written?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because this is all that he did in class. The only thing that I did apart from class was like the little like chicken scratch on the right of it. So so since we have that supernode, we need a second equation to relate it to the dependent source. So what that is 4ID equals minus V1 minus, sorry, negative V1 negative, sorry, minus 240.
Minus 240, yeah.
Yeah, so we
Okay.
have that. And then now we only have two equations. So since we have four unknowns, we need to have two more equations. So we do the KCL for V2, and then we have 2IB minus IB minus V2 minus negative 240 over 10 equals 0. And then you need an equation to solve for, yeah, to solve for IB at the bottom there. So then you get IB's V2 minus V1 over 5. So then, that's how he left us in class. And he was like, all right, whatever, figure it out, basically. So from there, I'm trying to learn how to like solve for these problems. So I plugged in IB into where I have IB in my supernode and where I have IB in equation 3 there. So yeah, so that's what you see to the right of that. You have,
That's gonna get messy.
yeah, I know, but like that's the way I saw on the YouTube video. So I basically like convert all the fractions into decimal points because it's easier that way, sort of.
Let's see. I'm gonna plug this into the calculator and see. I'm personally like, I'm I'm not. I would if I knew like. I mean, we're how do I say this? I don't want to teach you math. Like I don't want to like. I want to teach you how to like analyze a circuit, but like it if it comes to relating one thing to another, I'm probably not your best guy. But if it's like understanding, I guess like the circuit analysis and seeing the answer, and if you want to transform something, or but probably not for the
Okay.
math. I want to help you though with this. I
Like that's where I'm stuck, because if I do
Yeah.
this on the test, sure, I can get all of the equations, hopefully. But then
Uh-huh.
like when he wants me to give him an answer, I'm gonna be like, does not compute. Like, that's the part that I need to figure out how to do.
Yeah.
Because
So
no,
our
not in his videos, nor in the discussion session for class,
uh
nor in him in class person does anybody like go over how to finally get the final answer. So like you're pointing all these equations into this solve linear system thing, but I don't have that. So I'm
I mean,
not
you can
trying to like
download it.
be mad at you. I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do. It's part of my
No, no, no,
French,
no. I get it.
you
No, no,
know?
no. It's
I
cool.
like,
I personally, when I took this course, I was encouraged to use this. Uh, it kind of sucks that you have to do it all by hand
I mean, he
because
says we can use a calculator, but like if I don't have this, like what am I supposed to download this system and bring my laptop to class every time?
yeah,
Just solve this equation? Okay.
yeah, you should ask him.
Okay. Well, the quiz is tomorrow, so I don't know if I can really ask him at that point.
Is this what your quiz is gonna look like? Some kind of problem like this?
Kind of. I mean, he just said that it's on where is it? The
On
quiz for tomorrow is on sections 4.2 to 4.4, which is circuit analysis using node voltage method. So, but I looked at those sections, and those 3 sections are basically super node, and then node voltage, and then node voltage with a dependent source, whether it's current
Okay,
or.
so we said that this problem is the way I'm solving it is essentially nodal, right? It's just combining it. So 19 plus IB. IB is going to be IF plus 2 IB, right? 19 equals IE. You don't know what IE is, and then we know IA is 1 over 40. This is our first equation, right?
So
Uh,
what that?
huh?
Oh, what specific? Okay, you're plugging
So
in
yeah, yeah. I'm
IB. Oh, okay. I see
Yeah,
what you're saying now. Okay.
yeah. So this is going to be your first equation, and then I 19 plus IF plus 2 IB V2 minus V1 over 5 equals IE plus V1 over 40, right? Yeah, I'm gonna make this. Okay. So equation 2, IB is V2 minus V1 over 5 equals IF. What is IF again? Oh, IF is IC. Yeah, so, and is there an IC here? No, there's no equation. Wait, where did I write IF? This one, right? This one right here?
It's kind of small. Yeah, the one next to V2, I think that's what you labeled IF.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, that's one thing I have to change. Yeah. C, IF, yeah.
6 would be IC, and then your equation at the bottom. Wait,
Yeah.
not IE.
Huh?
No. Like when you right
Oh,
there, you
this,
left it back. We go back to undo what you did on the bottom there.
this one?
Yeah, because those are still what you had, right?
This is number 1.
Right.
This is our first equation, so it's this one right here.
Yeah, so that's IE, not
Oh,
IC.
good catch. Yeah,
Um,
my handwriting's terrible. Sorry.
but what
Right.
I was saying is when you have your EFC
Uh-huh.
on the left there, number 6, up one to the right there. IF equals negative 240. That should be IC equals negative 240 minus V2 over 10.
Also a good catch.
And
Okay.
then down under your equation there, number 1 down, IF, change those to IC if you want to reflect everything being IC.
Right. No, yeah, good catch. I always get I feel like I'm always in a hurry when I do it. So I need to take a step back and look at it. But okay, so IC and IC plus 2 IB, and we know IB is V2 minus V1 over 5. Right.
So
So,
wait,
and then
isn't that
what?
okay? Never mind. I see what you're, because sorry, it's just like the screen is like smaller now. So there we go.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
so and then IE.
I somehow made it bigger. So okay, because I didn't know what you were doing there for number 2, but you have IB equals IC plus 2 IB, and then to
Mhm,
the right, you just did that. Okay. I see what you're doing now. Okay, go ahead.
yeah.
So I3.
And then IE is IC plus ID, and ID is negative 240 minus V1 over 4.
And you have IC as well. So
Yeah. So I mean, essentially, if you have a calculator, or I wouldn't be able to solve this by hand. I mean, I don't want to. I probably mess it up, so I don't want to. But we now, if you plug this in, 19 plus what's it? IC plus 2 times V2, yeah, V2 minus V1 over 5 equal. Did I mess something up? Yeah, I did. Sorry, I messed yeah, that equals IC plus V over 40. Right. V2 minus V1 over 5 equals IC plus 2 times 2 minus over 5. IE equals IC plus 40 minus V1 over 4. And then what do we want to calculate?
we want to know V1, V2, ID, and IB.
Give me 3 variables that we want to
V1,
know.
V2, and ID.
Okay. So our IE is essentially we get a current here. So if we plug in, so yeah, let's plug in 80 times 18 plus 4, 40 over 21. No, I messed up something here. V2. So I think the way to solve this, essentially without even the calculator, is you're gonna you isolate IC here, get some function of V2 and V1, do the same thing here. Some function of V2 and then V1. You bring these together and you're able to find what
Well, yeah,
something
but we
that
have
depends on something.
IC. Like we know that IC, because you wrote it there on your EFC, that IC is negative 240 minus V2 over 10.
Right.
So, I mean, if you just plug that in, that should essentially be what I have, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Exactly.
yeah, I know. And then, what do you have IC? Where did you label for IC again? What you labeled that one? I mean, I just like, we have so many variables here that we didn't like label in class, so it's just kind of getting a little messy here.
So many variables that we in class.
Like in class, like we didn't go and label every single current and use those like you did at the top. Like we just went through and did like the actual like nodal analysis for each one.
Right.
So that's why it's getting like a little confusing. Because like, what did you label for IE again? The top one, which is RI1. Yeah, see how you have like IE in your equation 1, and we have IE in our equation 3. We use those to put them together. So like what you did is you plugged in equation 3, what it equaled for IE, into equation 1 down at the bottom.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you'd have
And
two.
then that's your supernode equation. Then in order to find that, you have to relate it to 4ID, which we did at your EFC number 7. And like that's your equation 1, 2, and then you need 2 more. So that's your, I believe, equation number 2 on the right, top right. And then your last equation is
Then
your EFC number 5. Those are our 4 that we have in class. So then with those 4, we have to like relate them within a matrix in order to get 2 of the variables, and then we can use those things to plug in and find IE or ID and IB.
okay. So essentially what you're saying is you have these 4 equations.
Yep, that one, that one.
And then this goes in that one. And then this. Yeah. I mean, all that is just plugging in, and I personally don't want to do it. And because I mean, it's not that I don't want to do it. I'm just gonna mess it up, and I know I'm gonna mess it up. And
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that's it. Because
This,
that's where I needed the help on. Right. Is there some other tutoring I can go to that will be able to help me see this and not freak out because it's physics?
this is just linear algebra.
Yeah, I know. So like, is there another tutoring I can go to so they can help me point where I messed up?
We can do it together if you'd like.
I know, but you just said you didn't want to.
I just know I'm gonna mess it up. I might even make the same mistake as you, but I'm here. So it's 19 plus IB equals IC plus ID plus IA, right? 19 IB is V2 minus V1 over 5, negative 240 minus V2 over 10 plus ID, negative 240 minus V1 over 4 plus is it IA? V1 over 40. All right. Do you want to annotate on this? And
I don't even know where you're at.
here.
No, like what? I don't even know where you're from. Is there any way like we could look at what I have written and can you like just follow through with like what I have on there maybe?
Yeah.
This is just kind of confusing me with all these different things. I'm sorry. I'm not trying
No, you're
to
good.
be annoying. I mean, I can let you go if you want.
No. essentially, yeah. So here. We have these side by side. Um,
Can you see my mouse?
no,
Okay, how do I?
there's that.
um, Okay. Can you just
Is
zoom into the photo on the right,
yeah,
or just make that like the main page?
this one. We're
Yeah,
looking at this equation, right? Yeah, these two look the same. I think
yeah. I
you
just because I'm not. We could very well be the same exact thing. It's just confusing looking at yours. Do you mind
yeah,
if we just look at the image? Sorry.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So we're here, right?
Hmm.
So we're going up here. And what we did was we plugged in this IB for the IB that's here. And we plugged in this ID for the ID that's here, right? So when you're plugging it in, you have I'd like transfer, I really transferred this one. This is the IB that I'm plugging in because I have it in decimal, right? So this is a minus IB
Sorry.
here. Oh, it's okay. Did you want to erase?
No, no, no. I was looking at that 24 you have annotated there. Where'd you get that 24 from?
The 24, let me see. Is that not 240 divided by 10 from here?
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
0.1. Okay. There's 19. I agree.
So if you don't even look at like this one or this, um, like don't look at any of those yet and just see, or like this thing right here.
Okay.
So if you're looking from this equation here, I'm plugging in this and this into the IB and the ID here to get this right here. Like, am I doing something with my math incorrectly?
Can you please
So now
point
if I,
one more time? Because
yeah,
I kind of lost you after you said the super node. I kind of lost you. So after you did the super node, or once you got this, right? Once you got this, where were you pointing at after?
well, okay, so ignore all this right now and this
Okay.
and this, because the teacher basically left us literally like all of this that on like red is all what I did. Everything
Uh-huh.
else is exactly what we did in class. Ignore that too. Okay.
Hmm.
So this is all me trying to figure out how to solve the problem, everything that's over here. So what I did was, first of all, I changed this into decimals to get this.
Hmm.
And then I changed this one right here to just solve for ID to get this one, right? So now I have ID equals this right here and IB equals this right here. So then from these two, I use those to plug in for this IB here, sorry. For, oops. So, oh my gosh, okay. So I use that to plug in for this IB and for this ID, right? Right? So this is a negative and that's also negative. So that makes this be negative 0.2 V2 plus 0.2 V1, right? Sorry, it's kind of messy,
Hmm.
right? I mean, that's just basic math, right? So that's
Yeah.
what I'm plugging in for this here, right?
Okay.
So, but I think I did something faster. Hold on, I'm looking at my paper. Um,
So
okay. Let me just erase this thing here. Go back to that. Okay. So when I wrote it, yeah. Unless, wait a minute. No, that's correct. Okay, so when I rewrote this equation from this line to this line, I just like did the math for these two, which is 5, and I
Huh?
moved them to the right side here. Okay,
Okay.
right? So I'm just gonna clear this because it's getting a little messy here. So that's what happened right there. So that's how I got this 5 here. And then this is what IB is, right? So it's -2, this right goes right here, -2, and then plus V 0.2, right? Sorry, minus 0.2 V2 plus 0.2 V1, right?
Mhm.
That's the same. And then this carries down, so I don't need to do anything for that one, which is just 1/40. This is this one. 1/40, and I've like double checked it, is 0.025 V1. So that's what that is. And then right here, this ID is this right here, which is a negative ID. So it's plus this, and then it's also plus 60, right?
Mhm.
So those are those two. And then to carry the finishing us off, this just gets brought down to here, which is 0.1 V2, right?
Mhm.
So I mean, that
It
seems
looks right.
correct so far, right? Because
Yeah,
that's
it
what
looks
I've been,
right.
okay,
Um,
so I'm there, and then what I do is I start combining my variables that have the same thing. So V2s come together, and then these V1s come together. Oops. V1s come together, and then I get this as my like equation, right?
Mhm.
And this just reworked because I have V1 here and V2 in this slot, and then this is what it equals, right?
Mhm.
So that's why this one is here and this one is there, equals -65, right? So now moving on to this one down here, I basically just did the same thing as I plugged in IB for the two spots IB were, but first I did 2 minus 1, which is 1. So that's why I have 1 IB here. So then I plug in V2 minus V1 for this IB, also divided by 5. So I'm really plugging this in. So it's not negative. So it's just straight up this going here. So that's that being this thing, right? And then it's minus point V 0.2, wait, 0.1 V2 right here, which is just this carried down and this carried down, right?
Yeah.
So then I just move this to the right. So I
Why did
have
you?
this
Oh, never mind.
because I combined the two V2s together,
Mhm.
right? So I mean 0.2 minus 0.1 is 0.1. I just double checked it. I wasn't saying that to be like annoying. I was just trying to double check the math at the same time, which is this. So then this is V1 and this is V2. So I write it here and here and here. And then when I put this whole thing in my calculator right here, I get not the correct answer. So like when I do the matrix for it, so I'll write down the matrix so we can.
So point
So
75
like if you
equals.
put this into your like fancy little calculator thing, I mean, would it give the correct variable or something's going wrong? So I put
It
this
is.
into my calculator and I do the row echelon form for it.
Sorry. Here, let me
And
stop anything. No.
it tells me my answer is like -149 point dot dot dot, and this one's like -58.18 dot 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 dot.
Okay. Uh, first of all, let me double check that. So equations for linear system. Oh, what am I doing? How do I fix this? Yeah, something along this line.
Yeah, that's
Or-
exactly what I get when I convert it to fractions.
Mm,
Yeah, -1640/11. But that's not the right answer for V1 and V2, which is what we were doing a second ago, are VA and VB.
Oh, you forgot
So
to. Did you forget to multiply the two IB? Or you just made IB? Okay. IB.
it's
Yeah.
2IB minus IB, which is just one, right? Unless I'm stupid. That should make sense.
It should be plus 24, not minus 24. So, okay, yeah. Should be.
Why would it be minus?
Because you multiply minus V2 minus times minus 24.
Yeah,
So,
but then you move it to the other side, so it's plus, right?
here.
So it's like V2 plus 240. So 240 divided by 10 is 24, which is negative, which is here -24. And then you move it to the other side, so it's plus 24.
You did this.
It's not minus 240, it's minus -240.
Oh, so it's plus. Okay.
Yeah. So it
All right.
is, so you have -24 equals 0, but when you move it to the other side, it's plus 24, like here, right here.
Shoot. Yeah, erase all this. Okay. It might, honestly, it might be like a math mistake, a little something. Maybe -19. Two.
So the next,
Well,
the second picture I sent you is the same problem, but we moved the ground. And when I did that one, I still didn't get the right answer when I did that one. I got one of the answers, but the other one was not the correct one. So like instead of getting -8 for IB and 10 for IA, I got -8 for IB, but I got 1
did
for IB.
did
So
he
I
give
don't
you
know.
these values? These I1 values?
Yeah, I mean, we just solved for I1 by moving it to the other side. So it should be the same thing as what's on the, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Pretty sure that's exactly what he wrote.
That might
So
be the error.
yeah, because I see the negative doesn't make sense there. Because if we move the I1 to the other side, then, or that should be -I1. Either way, that's wrong. Let me see if I can find this. This was from the class at the 37-minute mark. Sorry, it's not loading. Come on.
Yeah, and then plus combining these 3, 4, 5. 1, 2.
I'm confused. I mean, that's pretty much what he had. Sorry, I'm trying to rewatch the thing real quick to find it.
No, you're good. I'm trying to solve with you actually.
No, but I mean, you just pointed a pretty clear mistake right there. Because
Where?
if, I mean, exactly what you said. If you
Oh,
move
the
on to
sign?
their side, then IB and my negative, like that's not correct. So I'm trying to find where the, like all these videos are just blurring together. So I don't know.
No, yeah.
I'm like, oh my God.
That's a super naughty.
All right, chill out. Where did he say this thing? Unless I just copied it wrong. But why would I? Let me see.
Well, that's close.
I'm pretty sure that if we fix that, I don't know if you can do it faster than me and put it in your little fancy calculator. If you do that, that probably would solve the whole fix the whole thing, right? I mean, I don't know. I
Fix
was
what?
doing another one and I like had written 3 instead of B3, and that was where my error was. So
Mhm.
it's very possible that was me, but
Yeah.
so that's this one. And it's gonna be so yeah, that would totally change what this is, because then this is 43. Oh man, is it always going to be like this?
Unless you learn how to do it in a calculator.
Did you already
No.
graduate, or like just because this is my first time going to UCF? I just transferred here, so like how does
Mhm.
it work with like TAs and stuff? Like what does that mean?
Oh, so I mean, I took the class this class a year ago. I'm right now taking other classes like
Okay, so you're just right now working on your bachelor's as well for some sort
yeah.
of
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I'm literally like here, yeah. Like
Oh,
we're in the same place. No,
you're
so
me, but
I
just like future me.
yeah, but not as math intensive. I'm more
Well, like you, but like future me, but was able to use that Maxima or whatever program you have there.
Yeah,
Gotcha. Okay.
you can honestly even download a TI Inspire program on your computer and tell Chan, hey, can I use my TI Inspire to solve these linear equations?
Well, we're allowed to use like our computers on like, of course, because everything's like open note and open book, but we're like not allowed to use the internet.
Uh-huh.
But like it's just such a pain in the ass because like I have a pretty big like laptop.
hmm
It's like a pretty big gaming laptop, so I'm like lodging that thing all over there.
No,
But
I
I mean, I get
honestly,
it. I totally get it. It's
I
just
really encourage you like calculators because I personally started off like you and then because I was
struggling.
doing everything by hand. And
Right.
then my the TA at the time, he was like a graduate level guy. He's
Mhm.
doing his master's, I think, or PhD. And he's like, hey, y'all should use this program. It's called Maxima. It's basically like MATLAB. And MATLAB's actually something, it's a program you're gonna have to learn in the future with signals if you're doing comprehensive. Um, and he said literally plug in equations, linear system, and then you can do with this, you can like it'll help you later on because you also have to go to you're gonna have to put this in imaginary form. Like you're gonna have a once you like get to capacitors, inductors, these are gonna uh depend. They're gonna vary with time. And then you can still use the same thing for like it's gonna help a lot.
Got it.
Uh if
Mm,
not, if you're doing everything by hand, it's honestly like
pain in the
such a pain. Yeah. Like you see how I got these answers immediately.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm like, I wish I could just do that.
And what I did here, this up top here, is essentially the same thing as nodal analysis. It's just plugging in every single one of these values
Yeah,
in the KCLs.
yeah.
But I just don't want to do like put a, I yeah, like I'm gonna
Yeah,
mess it up.
I get
I
it. I
just
mean, I don't want to do it either. So,
yeah, but honestly, I recommend you like download this. That it helped me throughout the course, and it it allowed me to get liked enough by the professor to the point where he's like, "Hey Seb, do you want to help people with LC1?" Like, sure, but I'm not good at nodal or mesh. Like, I'm not. Mesh is usually more old school though. It's what a lot of people like. You probably learn mesh in physics.
I don't even remember physics. I was like a year. That was a
Yeah,
while ago.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah. Okay,
Okay.
so
Where
let's
is it?
see here. That should still be 60. This should be negative 103.
Okay, your second problem. Do you want me to compute what it would look like if the ground for the second one would be there at VC?
Where?
So basically do this one.
Um,
Do you want me to do it and then that way you can obtain the results?
well, let's see, where did I? So I'm trying to figure out what I put in the calculator. This is what I put in the calculator. Oop, where'd it go? If it lets me, this one and this one is what I put in the calculator in the row echelon form thing, the matrix.
Okay.
So to get ID and IB, but I got I think I got like -1 and or -8 and 1 instead of -8 and 10, which I'm supposed to. So I probably just did some stupid math there too. I don't know.
Okay. I'll just give me 1 sec. All right. I'm gonna
Just fix this one real quick.
I'm gonna call this V1, V2. Which currents are defined?
Hold on, let me zoom in. IB is defined and ID is defined. It's just, yeah, so it's the same as the other one we did, but this way he just did it with the ground there. Yeah, that one and the ID. Yep.
Okay.
And then everything in blue is what I've written, just to like how I've written it, like like the little arrows that are in color are just me saying like that's in reference to what we've written down as like leaving or entering at KCL VA, at VA or at the 241.
Okay. IP or IP plus I2 3 equals IP plus 19. And then EMF or EFC, sorry. EFC would be I3 equals V1 minus V2 over 40. 0 minus V1 equals 4 times ID. Can you write down at the bottom all the variables that are missing, please?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just trying to still fix that other one.
Very good.
What the fuck? Still not getting it. Still not
Okay.
the right answer. All the variables that we need to find are, so in this one we have less, we only have to find VA. That's an A. VB and ID. So what I was gonna do, if it would have worked for me.
Well, with the currents is what I was
Oh,
asking.
you're asking me like what you're specifically with what you're doing.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
Should have said that.
sorry. I wasn't even looking at that because I was trying to, I'm still trying to figure out the other one because it's still not right. I don't even know where are we at.
2 is V3 over 10. And then
I mean, wouldn't it be the same thing? V1, V3.
V2 is 240. So I got I1, I2, IB, ID, V1, V2, V3. Right. Oh, and I1, I2, I1, I3, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So there's 8. Yeah, so I have 8 equations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, yeah.
Well, so what he was trying to say is that depending on where we put our ground, it simplifies like what we do.
Yeah, it does.
Why? That's why like our only unknowns are these because you have V2, so like this you don't really need.
No, I
That's-
know. I know
Oh.
those are what you're looking for. The thing is,
I
like,
was
if
like,
you
why
don't,
would we have 8?
no, well, yeah. So like, using this calculator, if I put 8 equations and I put 3 variables missing, it's gonna be like each current that goes through each component. I don't know if each current, but there's a relationship between all of them. So you have to like, essentially the amount of you want to solve for every variable you're plugging in, right? So
Mhm.
I'm gonna wait, I'll just show you. Okay, so there's 8, right? So we got 19 equals I1 plus I3. 2 times IB equals IB, it's IB, right? Yeah. 2 IB, yeah, IB plus I2, I3 plus ID equals 2 times IB plus 19. I3 equals V1 minus V2 over 40. Negative 1 equals 4 times I2. V equals V3 minus V1 over 5. I2 equals V3 minus 10. V2 equals 240, right? And then our variables missing are I1, I2, IB, ID, I3, V1, V2, V3. I think I'm missing one. I2, IB, 5, 8, yeah. So this would be our values. Is that something that looks familiar? At least with VA, what's your VA? Hello? Oh, your VA is this. So 26. Or no, your VA is negative 80. Your IB,
So for V3, you got negative 80.
yeah,
In the last problem, we got it to be negative 320. I'm so
okay.
confused.
No,
Is
I might
it-
I might
would
have
it
done
change
something
if
wrong.
we- But would it have changed if we moved our ground with the,
Oh yeah. Oh, you meant the last problem. Yeah, of course it does.
okay.
Yeah.
So then it shouldn't be the same.
No, it shouldn't.
Okay.
I believe.
I don't even know.
Oh, let me.
But he said that it would be well, the current would be the same, but so you have the same as the currents, but oh
The
man.
values are up here. So, do you see my mouse?
Yeah.
Yeah. So these right here. This is essentially the same as this. Just changing the ground. Therefore, it changes the components. I think. Where
So
is
the
it?
voltages would all be different, but the current should still all be the same, right?
Yeah. I think so. In this problem, let's look at. Oh shoot! I deleted it.
Yeah.
I should have done that. There we go. I have to go soon, by the way. I do
Yeah,
have class
you
soon.
finish at 5:30, so
Yeah.
all right. Well, thank you. Will you be able to send me this recording just in case?
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
mind if I do it like later tonight?
Yeah, it's fine.
Can you remind me, please?
I'll try. It's my birthday, so I called to
Oh, happy birthday.
thank. No, it's not your fault. I'm just like I'm over here trying to figure this stuff out instead of being able to have a nice day.
Yeah,
No
fair
worries.
enough.
But all right, thank you for trying to help me
Of
and
course.
pointing out that one thing.
Yeah. I think best you can do is look at these values, and check
And then are
it.
you gonna send me the link for this thing you're using?
By the way, you can also simulate these circuits. If you go to multisim, you go to this website, multisim live, or
Can you erase all the writing for a second so I can see what you're writing?
Yeah.
Like this, the handwritten stuff.
yeah, of course. Give me 1 sec.
Just multisim.com. Is that what you wrote?
Yeah,
Okay.
multisim.com.
Mhm.
You make an account. I think my stuff is already, show you this. Yeah, you can make it a
Make it-
DC. Yeah, and components. You have your where is it? Dependent sources somewhere around here. Anyways, yeah, you can simulate this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would it then be able to tell you like what like each value is
Yeah,
if you like to put in like the variables that you need to find?
yeah, that's a whole different topic. I feel like this is like a whole different course now, like learning how to like simulate circuits. Like you go like this, boom, tells you live. Well, there's no ground. You always need to put a ground. Now it tells you the voltage across. You're able to find the current as well. Where is it? Five milliamps. 5/1000. Yeah. But yeah, I have to get going.
All right,
But
thank you so
happy
much.
birthday, and I wish I hope I helped.
That's okay. All right, thank you.
No problem. Bye
All
bye.
right, bye.